All right, start yours. Maybe you do have to hit start. I've pushed it. There you go. Beautiful. Good morning.
Good morning. So I'm hoping that people that are watching this can see you and me rather than just me, because that would be weird if I'm talking to you. I mean, I guess I could maybe hear you.
Oh, I'm watching your
So,
stream. What you're seeing on your stream, they're seeing. They're seeing me, you, the updated giving total, and the current air alarm. They're seeing everything.
is that true, people watching? That you're seeing both Greg and me?
Last one, 207. Grom Slava. Paul, hello from Oslo, Norway. Taylor Shepard, good morning. Paul, I can see you both. Ukrainian World Nation, plus plus. Last one.
Huh.
Yeah, you're golden, buddy.
Well, you see the chat, I don't.
Yeah. If you go to just open up your, on a different device, whether it be your phone or an iPad or something, if you will just open up your YouTube channel and turn your...
Well, I opened up my YouTube channel on a different... See, this is how
Yeah.
technically backwards I am. You know, I put my thumbnails, I put them together with PowerPoint. Like,
Yeah,
that's how
we do have some
barbaric I am.
issues there. The sweater affects
Yeah.
the brain for knowledge, but the creativity is we're working on pulling that.
Okay, so I had people on my stream say that they only see one person, and I only hear one person. That's me.
No, that you're good. I'm what look at this. I'm on your stream.
Okay, well, so somebody just told me I don't know what to make of that. Can't see Greg. Nope, can't see Greg. I have no idea who you're talking to.
Okay, so listen to me, guys. Okay, tell them if that's true to back out and go back into
Okay.
your channel. They'll see the other one.
Okay, so back out and go back into my channel, and theoretically you'll see that. According to
correct.
Greg, you will.
Yeah. No, they'll see everything.
Should I end the...
No, don't touch nothing. Your stream is smoking
Okay.
right here. It's working perfectly. Live chat's rolling.
Okay, so
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's-
we need to move Dr. Gerdes to StreamYard to the 21st century.
All right, so yes, so I'm going to cover that video because somehow it's videoing through me. So I guess what I'm going to do is let that run, because we have some weird technical difficulty where we have this double stream, and so if you're in the double stream, then I guess I'll play this later. I'll just download yours later, because something's weird about how I...
Now, listen, okay, one more time. Nothing's weird. For some reason, your setup, you're seeing something goofy, but everybody's here. Everybody's here.
Yeah, I believe you.
Yeah, I
I
don't know
believe
what
you,
you're
but they're
seeing.
also somehow here. I'm not exactly sure.
Okay,
how
Mr.
that's-
Squiggle gave the perfect advice. Click on the channel name and find the live again, and click on it if you can only see one person. So if you can repeat that message, it's perfect on.
Click on a channel name, find the live again, and click on it if you can only see one person. But I don't know
Correct.
how to keep people from joining me.
Kevin Delaney
And-
says, type a message in that chat.
Okay.
Kevin Delaney says,
and-
I logged onto your channel, Professor. I'm seeing you both just fine. 8:05 Eastern from Ottawa, Canada.
click on the channel name, and do what?
Click on the channel name and find the live again. It'll come right to both of us.
Are just seeing me. You should
Okay.
see Greg Terry.
Are you a risk taker?
Depends.
If you hit end stream on what you hit start, it may solve it,
Yeah.
but that's risky.
Okay. Well, let's try it.
Okay,
Bam.
go for it. If not, we'll start the stream again, guys.
Okay. So, are you still going? Because
Absolutely.
theoretically,
What I'm pushing is
Theoretically.
there. Yep, Sally Lutz. Yay, now I can see both
Okay,
of you
that-
guys.
There we are. Now we're
We're
here.
solved.
Okay. So I shouldn't have hit start stream. Okay, so
There was
let's
a
actually
delay.
start. Now that we're 6 minutes in of technical difficulties, we can actually begin this. So, update us. Tell us what's happened, where we are, what you've been hearing, because this is really important that we're getting like ground truth.
Yeah, so here we go, guys. We'll start with this and really just want you to help you understand today, maybe a little bit in detail. So, our home base, which is all of you guys, is over here in the Khmelnytsky region. Let me make that a little thicker, right here. And when we run the front like we're doing, as you've been watching my videos, and if you haven't, please go because you'll know what you're supporting through Dr. Gerdes. From our home, if you were to drive a straight line directly to Bakhmut, it's 970 kilometers or 602 miles. Now, of course, that's not the way we go. We already on this run have driven over 3,000 kilometers. I can show this stuff. We've been in Zhytomyr, we've been in Kyiv, we've been in this area, 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 we've been in this area. We have one more area we're going. Tomorrow, I have the stream with you right now, Dr. Gerdes, the stream with Johnny later. And I said, you know what, we're just shutting it down where we're currently located. So I've got good internet and wanted to make sure these were successful. So we've been running those front lines for about 10 days now. And we're hearing surprising things from all of the commanders. We've interviewed them, we've talked with them, and through the relationships that are built. Okay, this is not easy. And this war is hell on earth. It's brutal, it's nasty, it's a lot of mistrust. Not between Ukrainians and the world, but so many Russian soldiers are over here. I know you guys, you don't have to believe me, but I am here. I do speak the Russian language. I know what's going on. So when we go to these areas, we have to have trust. Nothing happens without trust. So the first run, continuing the trust I've been building and Zhenya's been building, this is what gives us access. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 days ago, I stuck my left foot into Russia. I crossed the border somewhere. This is how close we are. So when we're talking to these commanders, they have to know that you're not a spy. You're not trying to give away their location. They're responsible for 100 or 50 or 500 guys under them.
Yeah.
It takes time. So in talking to all of them, they begin to build that relationship and trust, and we begin to hear from them directly what they really need. And surprising is some of the requests. And I'll make this and shoot it back to you, Dr. Gerdes. Last night, I was with a group that's fighting in Avdiivka. That's all we need to say. And it's one of the hottest, most horrible places on the earth right now. And those combat medics have 0 Z-fold gauze. 0. And the only tourniquets their soldiers have are manufactured in China. So medical needs are always number one. Many people think, okay, 1 tourniquet per soldier. No, I went to a combat medic training 2 days ago. Last night, some of you guys saw that video on my channel. If not, just go check it out. You can see training with the combat medics. Ukraine wants every soldier to have 3 tourniquets, if not 4, because typically in a traumatic situation with your body, if you're wounded, it's not 1 tourniquet. It's 3 plus 1 more because they're moving them, controlling all of the bleeding. So we're talking about a huge deficit there. Secondly, I was shocked as I've driven all these kilometers and miles that one of the largest needs is metal detectors. I know we think
Mhm.
about drones and we are helping all of you guys that have purchased drones. It's in process. Your names will be on them. They will be delivered. You will see it all. Just takes a little time. But the commanders told me directly the FPV drones that are used to be eyes in the sky so that they can see the enemy, not even attack the enemy, see the enemy, which is most important, is actually less important to these guys than metal detectors. So,
It's not that they're unimportant, but it's just that for their priorities, they have to have metal detectors to be able to get wherever they're trying to go because it's so heavily mined. Or is that
correct.
is that fair? Yeah.
Unbelievably mined.
Hmm.
And a couple of nights ago on one of my videos, 2, 3 nights ago, you guys saw me walking through a dark forest. Okay, I was very close to the zero line. I went down in the underground bunker, talking with a couple of soldiers. I showed you where my bed would be the next time I go there. We literally, you drive the car, and then you heard the soldier say to me, okay, muy tout, I mean, we stop here. And he said, muy peshkom. So from there, we go forward on foot. The Ukrainian army is not like the Russian army. It's not like the American army, European armies. They're not moving their troops in troop carriers. They have very few. The
Hmm.
troops are literally driving in beat up, trashy vehicles that they can get as close to the front as safe. Your typical soldier fighting on the zero line is driving his vehicle to 5 kilometers. And then, of course, you switch positions at night, walking through the woods, a foot of snow, open fields and tree lines, river bottoms for 5 kilometers. 5 kilometers to get to their position and change out with the guys on their cycle, which is typically 48 to 72 hours. And it's horrible. So, in the dark, when they know they're getting close or to the places where the mines have been and the mines are, they're losing a lot of soldiers due to not being able to identify mined areas. You think about it, guys. Many of you that live in the regions of the world where you get snow, if you have snow right now, go out into woods or forest or field near you and try walking through it and see how
Yeah.
much you stumble around. You can fall off. You can't see the slope of the ground underneath. You trip over sticks. This is what they're doing. Last few days, I've been walking through heavy snow and falling down and all kind of stuff. So the metal detectors vitally. The next piece that I was shocked with that is the top 3, 4 requests are stretchers. Specifically stretchers they can carry, and additionally another stretcher type that literally looks like a children's sled. It's a big
Mm.
plastic evac stretcher that has these little rails on it because the guys are getting wounded on the zero line. And I talked directly to medics who have literally drug wounded soldiers 5 kilometers through forest,
Well,
snow, because they're out of stretchers and they have very, very few and limited supply as far as sled stretchers. That is the difference between saving a human being's life or they dying.
yeah.
That's where we're at. So,
So
surprisingly, those were the top requests.
as I'm hearing this, the reality of their situation. By the way, I can't see live stream comments, so if you can, you can see any of these,
Okay,
I,
listen. Okay, I'm
I,
gonna say I'll read them to you. Let me check it right
but
now. But
I just appreciate it if you could keep an eye on that. But as I'm hearing you explain this, I'm first thing I want to say is when you were going back to the map, that map is a straight arrow, 602 miles. And so I just was Googling some things. That's about Richmond to Jacksonville, like just to put it in, like to help Americans understand that distance. And that's if it's going on a straight line rather than that you're, having to take roads different directions
Mm-hmm.
around. And then I would imagine going around this circle that we're seeing here
Yes.
is, like going around, it's like going to be another version of that, maybe Washington to Orlando or
Well,
something as you're going around.
we already know what we'll end up with by the time we circle back. It'll be 4,500 kilometers.
Yeah,
So whatever that is in miles, that'll be this first run.
that's called a lot.
Yeah,
That's the
it's
technical
called
term word.
Preparation H.
Okay, so but the issue here, to my mind, is that we're really hearing something that it's almost mind-boggling in the sense of like we would never dream that our soldiers would have to go pick up their own equipment, go get yourself to the battle, not be prepared with the gauze, the tourniquet, the whatever that they need, not have mine clearing. I mean, like we're looking for metal detectors or like those kind of things. It's almost unbelievable that these things are just not provided, but they're not. They don't have the materials. So what we're trying to figure out is what they need, and apparently what they need is technologically what they need is mine clearing, and beyond that they need gauze and
Life
tourniquets and things
saving.
along those lines. Now the gauze and tourniquets are on the way largely.
They are.
Doesn't mean you can't purchase more, but they're in shipment.
We can purchase here as well. Um, and we will, because people have designated funds for open needs, which will be now medical, sleds, stretchers, and metal detectors. Sorry.
Yeah.
So those funds will be going there. So we'll finish and get back to our base in a 48 hours or so, and then we'll get
Hmm.
very aggressive on this and be as transparent as possible. I mean, I'll even go make a video at the supplier where we're buying them, and
Hmm.
show folks. We try to show everything that we can. It just takes time.
Yeah, and so this is a messy, difficult kind of thing to be trying to show all the paperwork at every moment. I get that, but so let's look at the big picture. So does each individual need like a metal detector, or how does
No,
that work, or
no.
is it
So
units?
yeah, units, and units basically go out depending on their job. If for Ukraine, sniper units go out in twos and threes, just like any other nation.
Hmm.
Trench groups typically go out in 10 to 12s, plus the back medic on the backside. So one takes care of them. And when I describe one position, I literally could drive that entire 1,000-kilometer front, and it would be the same story every time. Every time.
Hmm.
Now, I'm going to give you another little bit of insight here, and this is no problem, but the number one request from commanders is nothing I've mentioned so far,
Okay.
and we can't supply it. But just so your community, my community, and whoever watches this later understands, Ukraine's number one need right now is soldiers.
Yep.
It's it's no bueno, guys. They're fighting like heroes,
Hmm.
but man, they need help. I was on a training ground with a couple of groups, and for those of you that have found me through Dr. Gerdes or others, and we're all working together now, we are adopting the 3rd Assault Battalion, 2nd Rifle Brigade. That's in process, talking with them nonstop. When our shipment arrives, we're going to put together
Hmm.
packets, which will be 500 sets of thermals. And
Hmm.
our team on the ground here, we're going to create a gift bag, may not be a bag, or wrap them all up. So you're going to have your thermals, your tourniquets, your chest seal, all your stuff, and we're going to go and we're going to give it to every soldier. It's going to be a really beautiful thing,
That's
taking
awesome.
care of that mass, and then of course all the zero line guys as well. So
So that'll start depleting that ton of stuff that's on its way very quickly.
yes, as fast as possible, we want to delete it so we can get
Yeah.
more, and we will. That pushes us to the next thing, and that is Dr. Gerdes and I were talking before the live stream tonight, and I was talking to Johnny because I will be on with Johnny here in a couple of hours,
Tonight.
and
I barely got up.
and Rick called me and says, "Man, I need you on tomorrow," and it's just beautiful, to be honest, how all of us are working together. But as you guys probably know, if you also follow Johnny Pierce, he is coming to Ukraine, and I'm going to take him on a full run on the front lines. And I've already told a lot of the soldiers on the front about this Brit that is coming, and that he actually has multiple sclerosis, and he cares so much about Ukraine that he wants to come and put his feet on the soil and shake some hands and find some stories and tell the truth. And it's like almost bringing
Yeah,
tears
that'll
to
be
them
huge.
that in his situation, I'm healthy, in his situation, that he would even come at all. So it's a beautiful, beautiful thing that's really soon, actually. It's early part of February. So Johnny then is going to be able to accentuate the message once he sees it with his eyes
Sure.
and hears it with his ears as well. So that pushes me to this. The Amazon is amazing. The numbers here, we purchased $77,821.65. Many people were wondering, okay, how much of that was Europe? How much of that was America? I can't give you that number exactly. I can tell you that quite a bit of supply has come to our Belgium group, and they are already shipping that to us in Ukraine. And that was thousands and thousands of dollars. But to be honest, most Europeans actually bought through the American site. Now, you may not have, and your stuff is in Belgium and coming here. But we were shocked. Well, I wasn't. Our guys that were packing it all, when the little gift slips come and says, love from Norway, love from France, love from wherever. And they were like, what is all this international? So whether it was
By the way, how
intentional
many
or not,
people were back there? By the way, how many people were back there packing?
11 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you ruined their holidays.
I destroyed their lives. No. All of you guys destroyed their lives. So let me.
I mean, in a good way. I mean, you just made them work really, really hard over that.
And they loved every minute of it. I see a question here from Paul Gude Deberitz. Are all those things available for purchase in Ukraine, Greg? So, guys, yes. Everything is available for purchase here. Sleds, stretchers.
So these things that we're mentioning now weren't even on the original Amazon links,
no.
and the quick way to get them is to go through a direct donation line and just convert the money right away, right? I mean,
the quick way to
am I
do
wrong?
anything now, since I'm going to be here 2 more months, is if you are compelled to help more, that would be to donate, whether through PayPal, cash donations, or we've received. If you're an American or Canadian, people have been mailing it even to our office there, and that's where a very large contribution came in that we're going to be hearing more about here very soon. Something else coming up that's exciting. But so here, I can buy at basically the same cost because we're NGO, and I hate to tell you guys the truth, but I love to tell you the truth. The Red Cross has so many tourniquets, so much Israeli bandages, so much Z-fold gauze that is sitting in warehouses in Lviv that just
Yep.
sitting there rotting. It's the truth. When I was with the guys, that Avdiivka guys, yesterday, I and we were building this relationship, and they were like in tears that I was putting stuff in their hands. They go, "We've requested nonstop. It's all in Lviv." That is not the corruption of Ukraine. That's the corruption of the Red Cross, guys, and the cowardice, the cowards that won't put a team together and get it to supply and logistical places in the East and the South. That's what it is. And I'm going to tell you this as well. This is my 6th month of running the front line. I have been everywhere that I have shown you on this map right now. Everywhere. And my next location is the hottest one yet tomorrow night. On fire. I'm just telling you, this time I have not seen one humanitarian aid vehicle.
Wow.
One. We went through one checkpoint and we were very close to a hot spot. And I have all the documentation I need to get to anywhere. I have military stuff. So I'm good and have the American passport, and they are so thankful and just shockingly happy that we're there helping. We went to one block post just a couple of nights ago, having to get through. We were going right as close as we could get to meet up with some guys. And the soldier manning the block post looked at me and says, he's speaking Russian. He goes, "You're the first volunteer I've seen in months. They stopped coming because the people that were volunteering are now in the trenches because we're out of soldiers. Our volunteers are now soldiers. We have no volunteers. So thank you."
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
So let me pause you there. I actually have figured out how to get the chat on my phone. I learned eventually, and so I got it there. Somebody was asking, is there a reason that the Red Cross is so slow? And you might have just answered that, but I think they're talking about corporate Red Cross, maybe.
So no, this is the International Red Cross. Okay. And I don't want to go into Johnny's geopolitical space, but the reason is a lot of the coordination from the Red Cross. Just guys on your own, Google how strong the Red Cross is connected to Russia. That's all you need to Google. That's
Okay.
it.
So if they're just not getting the material there, that's a problem for either reason. It doesn't really matter
Correct. It
why,
doesn't matter.
but they're not getting it there. Okay. So
But
you said that
I can get their material. See, that's the deal. Because of our NGO here, turn everything we need, everything that was on the Amazon list, I can get here at the same or cheaper prices. So we need to transition it for those that want to help more. Let's pause the Amazon. And I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm just going to interject one more thing. Our air shipment's coming, but this time it was red tape galore. And it had nothing to do with Ukraine and the company, Meast. They're doing everything they can do. But starting in December 23, the EU initiated different regulations for the humanitarian shipment that would land in Poland and get into Ukraine. We're good. Our humanitarian shipment is coming all the way to us in Ukraine. I do not even have to go to Warsaw to get it. But we had to go through so much red tape to make it happen. And the Ukrainian lady there in Newark, New Jersey, talking to our guys in Pennsylvania was saying, "I'm sorry. I know Greg. He shipped here before. It's so different now. We have so many papers, so many hoops to go through. It's the EU. It's passing the borders. It's a mess, but we made it."
So, I mean, we just got to keep up pressure on pretty much whatever front we can. And so getting materials to them is something that we can do. We can't do much about
No.
backfilling personnel. That's not not something we can do. Might not be able to do much about armaments. Although, yesterday I was putting out the video about how to write your congressman, right? And so write your congressman. You can keep pressure on that front. You can give on this front. You can do what you can do in order to aid the effort. And I mean, don't worry about what can't be done or what impediments are in the way. Help in whatever way you feel that you can. See another comment?
Yes. Yeah, I got a good comment here. I actually want to answer. Jason Grace, why are so many Ukrainian men reluctant to go fight for their country? They're not. They're not. First of
I'm
all,
sorry, I was laughing because you're freezed on my end. I got a comment I want to answer.
it's
Say it again because it
okay.
froze
So
on my
Jason
end.
Grace's question. Thank you for the question. Why are so many Ukrainian men reluctant to go fight for their country? They're not. It's no different than any other country.
But that
on this
is
planet.
what it appears like in the media, though.
Of course, that's the story
that is
they
like part of the
tell.
media narrative.
Okay, here's the reason. Here's the reason. Here's the reason. Ukraine is running out of people. It was a nation just 10 years ago that was over 40 million in population. Let me tell you what the real number is now. 28 million people. 28 million people. So their army, you take out of that population. Then, if every fighting age man goes to the front to fight, the business and the economy is destroyed because you still have to keep the jobs going. I'm in a city right now, I'm safe in a good location that is huge, and industry still has to work. Thermal plants, power plants, infrastructure, everything still has to work. So it's not as simple as, well, okay, some are going, some aren't. That's always going to be the same in any country. There are going to be draft dodgers in any country, in any war, you know. But the reality is, you've got a large country here about the size of Texas, a lot of large cities that is in war, on a war economy, and they have to keep the economy going as well. It's the best answer I can give.
So, okay. Let's shift gears back to what we can actually sort out.
hmm
What would it take for them to get a metal detector? How would you get it?
Okay, so metal
Those kind of
detectors cost, for the ones that are reliable, good, and work, $500 approximately, like 550. So 500, 550, and we've already got the supply connection set up through Lviv. So we're just going to raise money and go buy them. I know that is also going to be a focus on the stream with Johnny tonight. We were talking. He goes, "Man, I really want to raise some money for something before I come and buy some things and deliver them." He says, we were talking about different topics. He goes, "Oh, the metal detector can save guys' lives in that way. So we're saving them in the air and we're saving them on the ground." He goes, "So we're going to be pushing for that." But if you take a 1,000 kilometer long front, and Ukrainian positions are along that entire front, and that entire front line is heavily mined, and it's not only mined on the Russian occupied side. What many times the Russian military does is they will shell the line with those
with mines.
capsules, and it will land right behind the front line, the zero line, and it will sling out hundreds of mines. So what they're doing is they know they've got the guys pinned in the zero, or they're fighting from the zero, and when it's time to cycle out, they've thrown mines behind them. And the guys are leaving in the dark.
Yeah.
It's ugly.
So, okay. Mine detector is 550. So how do we determine if somebody gives 550 to make sure that that's going to a mine detector?
Can it be, this is where you are the Dr. Synergy.
So you got to set it apart.
I need to answer
somehow,
one
like,
thing. I need to answer one thing. Cheryl Waitley, dang, I just ordered Z Fold through the Amazon wish list based on yesterday's video. Thank you. Listen,
It'll
Cheryl,
still get there.
It'll still get here, okay? We're not going to push that now. everything. If you guys saw my video last night and went and bought something, it'll get here. Don't worry. This is just the major air shipment. But now we need to really focus inside because the pricing is as good or better, and I'm here.
Yeah. So it's not like it's lost or anything. It's just it'll get there, and they'll still need it when they get there. So that's not an issue. So here's what I would say, Greg, to make it crystal clear that it's 550. I would say make it like 550, 555, and it'll be unambiguous that was going toward a mine or a metal detector.
Yes. Agreed.
So if anybody's going to give and they want to give for that particular purpose, that's whatever. Otherwise, I mean, other items, if they're given in cash or PayPal, just go to whatever they're saying that they need. And they do have the sleds or the other things that are needed.
Correct. So we're going to be buying all that. There's some really good comments here I need to hit. That are metal from Ronnie Vranken. Are metal detectors just for mines? Primarily, yes, absolutely. It's horrible. Second one was, is Greg still using night vision? Yes, I use night vision and I use drone detectors. You want to come for a ride? It's so... Tomorrow night where I'm going, we will go fully dark, and this is all we'll hear. And all that means is drones.
How does that mean drones? I'm not sure.
It's a drone detector.
What's that?
So we're picking up the frequencies of the Russian drones that are over our head.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Nonstop.
Wow.
It's like a radar detector in the U.S. for detecting radar of like a cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's what it does. And it'll go beep, 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 and we'll know they're out there. And then it'll go beep, 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 and then it'll go brrr. When it goes brrr,
yeah, that sounds creepy.
Yeah. It's fun. All right. Now, a great comment here. Paul says, I think 550 is easily identifiable. Yes. Susie Q. So can't you use cash donations for these things? Yes, we are. Remember, just to remind everybody, finishing up the first run in about 48 hours, get back to Khmelnytsky. I'll be live streaming or doing video updates from Khmelnytsky it'll be a few days. Those days are purchasing days where we're using the resources that you guys have donated financially allocated for drones or medical, or now it will be metal detectors or whatever. We will be purchasing. I probably will be going to Lviv to make that happen. And from where I stay, it's about 4 hours to Lviv.
And so, it might cross somebody's mind like, hey, it's kind of costly to be there by yourself, or to be there yourself rather than to just ship something. But how else would you get it where it's going? And then how much valuable information did you pick up along the way about what actual needs are by actually meeting with the commanders and, hearing what their needs are so that you can equip them properly? I mean, I don't know how you even estimate it, because if it was me just by myself and I was going, okay, I'm going to raise these funds for, okay, I could probably get it right with thermal underwear and gauze and tourniquets. I mean, that seems pretty easy, but I never in my wildest dreams would I, and drones I would have thought, right? But never in my wildest dreams would I thought sleds and metal detectors. It's just not something that would have even crossed my mind.
Mine either. And that's why, I really wanted, this was perfect timing for these streams today. I'm actually locking down my position and not traveling today because I think these are so important to update the community that has been so faithful and so good and so generous. We try to do everything upfront, transparent. I was so surprised when the commander looked at me in the eye and says, I need metal detectors. A drone will save one guy, a metal detector will save 10.
Yeah, and so I mean, if that's the case, you focus on metal detectors. If that's, I mean, like, I appreciate the drones, and I think that's useful. But like, let's magnify our resources, our impact, be as efficient as possible in this.
Kevin Delaney, can you tell the difference between outgoing Ukrainian drones and incoming Putin drones? Yes, they have different frequency markers and different sounds. Greg Terry, were you able to connect with U.S. medic nurse Rebecca Makurowski? Yes, Rebecca and I have been talking, and we're going to help her. It just takes time because of where she's located. It's very, very, very dangerous. So yes, we're talking, not back and forth. What about the drone zapping devices? They're pretty much a waste of money now because Russia has changed their drone technology. In fact, that came out on some news about a week ago, but I can confirm it. They're not working as well anymore. Additionally, the amount of drones that Russia is using right now is overwhelming, not for dropping munitions, but they're running 6 cameras per drone, and they are 3D mapping everywhere in Ukraine. They're 3D mapping everything so that they can be much more accurate with their rocket strikes. And the drone zapping guns early in the war, yeah. But there's been a lot of adjustments now, and no, it's a problem. It's much like communication. I can share this with you. Another major need that we will be helping and already helping with some of the funds you guys have donated that were undesignated. We've already bought 2 battery systems for our guys that are fighting in Krinky. So they're the biggest heroes on the planet. They're the ones that cross the river. They're incredible heroes, but their communications are out because of the jamming systems from Russia. So they're switching to this different Motorola system, and they need batteries. So we've already ordered the batteries from you guys, and I will deliver them to the Krinky guys, and you will see all of that. So the needs are just crazy. Early in the war, I'll tell you a story of how the war's changed. Early in the war, I was down on the Dnipro, delivering aid, running right on the front. I mean, literally, I was on the bank of the river. Snipers could have ripped us, but we went in with military. We went in behind a shield, then we went in behind this building, and we were running with military, and it was on a time when the artillery was being cycled out, so we knew we had a 90-minute window. We went in, and there was 300 people left in this village. Many of them have been killed now, by the way. But at that time, 300 people left. We dropped off enough food to handle those 300 people for about a month to help them and take care of them. On the way out, we got out, no problem. The next day, a group went in and they were killed because they didn't work with military. So that's why we work with military only. But what I wanted to share with you on this specifically in regard to communications, at that time of the war, which would have been within the first year or right at the end of the first year, when we're running that front line that close, my buddies that are with me on the military just would flip the frequency on their radio devices, and we would listen to the Russian forces so he can hear them talking about bringing in the reloads, bringing in this, and he knew our window was clear, that our possibility of being shelled was less. And at that time, Russia and Ukraine, they would be talking back and forth to each other. When we were safely going out, he handed me the radio and says, "Hey, talk to them in English." So I went on the Russian channel and said, "Hey, the American is here and I'm coming. Just having fun." Then they start ripping. Now, none of that happens. None of it. Why? Because Russia has changed their frontline communications from radio signal to hardwire signal, just like during World War II. Ukraine can't break it. They can't hear what they're doing anymore. And Ukraine also is switching to the hardline communication systems. It's amazing. The more technologically advanced we get, the more backwards we go in warfare a little bit in some ways.
It is funny. But to a greater point, you were talking about the drone with multiple eyes on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're foolish if we don't think that the Russians are adapting. Like we think, oh, well, they're just stupid. They're not. They're not. No,
No, they're not.
no. They're adapting. They're learning. They're learning hard lessons, but they're adapting. Somebody asked me if they should have shotguns. Like, will they be able to shoot a drone
No,
with a shotgun? I
no.
don't think so. I think the
Typically,
drone's going to fly high enough that that's not going to make much of a difference.
no. They're typically, so when you see them, like a shaheed, which I've seen shaheeds plenty. In fact, so I can tell you this now. About 2 weeks ago, 10 days, 12 days ago, Khmelnytsky was hit very hard with a massive missile strike, my base city, and 2 people killed, 39 wounded. The day before that, my buddy called me and says, Greg, I'm watching a shaheed right now. It's 30 meters over my head, about a fifth, 5 story, so it's out of shotgun range. You're not going to hurt them things. And he goes, the military guys are standing right beside me in the street watching it. And they've already identified that it's not carrying munition. So they're just going to let it, they're watching it, and they're going with it, and they're going to let it run out of fuel and fall to the ground. I said, what? He says, yeah. He says, they're so low on supply. He goes, I'm talking to the guy right, he's my buddy. They're so low on supplies, they're not going to waste it. And it's terrible to say, bringing that drone down, but what that drone was doing was mapping everything. It was 24 hours later that the massive missile strike hit the same exact spot. So that's what's happening. And, you know, we talk about the soldier need. We've identified the commander's needs now. I know the world will respond to that as we work together. But I do want to remind you that a major need, and we can't fix this, is, you know, the artillery and the shells and the air defense. And this is
well,
why,
I mean, go back to my channel and go look at what, you know, how to write your congressman. I tell you how to, what script will work best for which kind of, you know, if they're neutral, if they're pro-Ukraine, if they're against Ukraine, if they're a Democrat, like what to say to which. And it's far more important that you simply tally you register your pro-Ukraine position than that you are convincing them of what you're saying. Like it's a numbers game for these congressmen. So if they see that 50 people are interested right now about, hey, you've got to support Ukraine, and that's more important than one really well reasoned argument, right? Just keep at that and spread that far and wide, because that's what's going to make that kind of progress there.
I was on the main...
I think I'm sorry. I was going to say, I think they're a couple weeks away from making a deal. I think they're getting close. It's just some people don't believe me, but there's a political process. You never want to see how the sausage is made in legislation, right? I mean, that's it's just ugly. And there's a political process that they have to work through. Unfortunately, this is happening at a time where Ukrainians are desperate to get this material. And then there's going to be a lag between when they decide, yes, we're going to give this, and then how long it's going to take to get it there. So it's even worse, but it's a process that will, I believe, actually get worked out in some way. We're not going to not fund Ukraine. Something's going to give, but you got to keep pushing at that in order to help them get that. I'm sorry, that was just
no. I agree with you completely, and kudos on your point of, let's say it's a few weeks and a deal is brokered, you're still months from anything arriving, and it's going to be tough. I was on the main battle training facility. I was invited there to hang out and with some commanders. I'm talking high commanders. We were watching new recruits being trained, and the whole war scene is there. It's incredible, huge facility, and it's war games. And I was up with the commanders and talking to a major. It's a very good friend of mine, and his job is to train. And the snipers were in position, and the tanks were rolling, and the drones were flying, and the smoke grenades were going. I mean, it was real, guys, 100% real. And when the snipers took position, I would hear them go, pow. And then that would be it. And then the commander the major turned to me and goes, Greg, every one shot our sniper fires on the training ground here, it's supposed to be 5. But we do not have enough ammunition. So we're doing 1. He goes, you'll see the tanks roll. They will fire 1, but they should be firing 5. It's the same deal. They're that low. That low.
Well, so we can control what we can control,
We
and that
can,
is
and we're going to
that
help it
we can
massively.
find out what they need. We can make sure that they get these kind of things to the degree that we can equip you so that you can deliver them. So again, I guess the spigots are back open. If you care about these issues and want to deal with metal detectors, we're looking at 555.55. We'll make it sure that that's going to that. It doesn't mean that you can't buy other things as well.
Or 55,
but if you want to make,
yeah, just if we see fives, it's metal detectors. Our guys will know. They're in the office. John says locally made sledges. Where will you be looking for them? In Ukraine, they're available. No problem. We just have to get them, and we are. That'll be out in Western Ukraine. Let me just make sure. How can we pressure the Red Cross? I've knocked on their door where their 40 brand new Range Rovers are sitting with the big Red Cross and white vehicle that's never left their parking lot. That's a waste of your time. Just make sure I catch your
somebody's
chat
talking
here.
about an email to Congress. Is it sufficient or a written letter? I don't think it makes a difference as long as you tally. So rather than spend the time to create a letter, walk it to the post office, far better to just get it in and get another. The time that you can spend, like put it on social media and see who is like-minded that can also do the same thing. Replicating it is far better than getting the best argument or getting it into letter form. So
is the Red Cross giving supplies to volunteers if they are there, were there? No.
Well, that's a good question.
No. We've asked.
So they won't work with
They
won't work with other organizations. Wow.
The only organization that is massive that I have seen on the front lines at any time during this war. Sorry. 2. Rotary International. And Samaritan's Purse.
Yep.
The Red Cross hasn't been within 50 kilometers of the zero line. I'm telling you. And on this run, I've seen 0. The only 2 vehicles I literally saw with my eyeballs were 2 United Nations vehicles. And they were, at that point, 150 kilometers from the front. That's the only international vehicles I've seen. Now, granted, I'm one vehicle, one place, one time. But in times past, I saw a lot of volunteer/international or, some organization you never heard of, like Hope for Ukraine on the side of the door. Unfortunately, I just don't see any of, and I don't know if Hope for Ukraine's real. I just threw a name out there, so nothing on that. But all these little organizations, just nothing now. Nothing.
Okay, so what do we want to leave people with here as we're wrapping up? We want to make sure that they're aware that if they give, so we have money in the cash donations to draw down toward these needs, but if they want to specifically give toward metal detectors, 555, 55,
any
that's or anything with the 55s in it.
Yes,
like, we'll know
anything with the
directly.
55. I will let our office know immediately after this stream. So what I can tell you is,
so like people can crowdsource toward that is what that means. It's like that's the total. But if you're just giving toward that, anything ending in 55 will be used toward that end. That's the idea.
Martin Roy explains, or to Dr. Gerdes, I'm cool with this. Any amount that ends with 555 should go towards metal detector. Doesn't matter if it's 1555, 245, 55, 55, drive 55, beats not driving at all. Any of those. I aged you right there, Dr. Gerdes. I know you got that one. So we're going with the 55s. Everybody's agreed on that in the community. And we'll keep you updated. Now, I just want to make one statement here. In the 49,804 of online cash donations, online PayPals of 5284, and the 28,051 of mail donations, those are cash donations that have come in from all over the world, and there are already allocated funds in those. I've got the entire list with me, guys, for those of you that purchased or crowdsourced drones for us to put names on. That's in process. Don't worry. Those funds will not be used for this project. And you will see that. So this is undesignated funds in these categories already. Will go to the sleds, metal detectors, medical supplies, and then new donations coming in that we see with the 55 will be on the metal detectors.
And John, you'll be doing the metal detector stuff too, and
Johnny
you'll be
Pierce will,
talking
yeah.
with him later on. And yeah, so okay, so
Awesome.
that's where we are. What else do you want to leave people with? Because we're about at our time.
Thank you. Thank you guys for caring. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for helping. Thank you guys for, thinking beyond what you see in your own living room or your own backyard. It's a serious matter going on, especially when you begin to pay attention what's happening in the Middle East as well. Our world is pretty hot right now, and we can do our part to help here. So thank you.
Okay, so Martin on the bottom said for the metal detector, whatever, we can still give cash donations through PayPal and mail. Where are the links? The links are in every one of my videos.
Yes.
They're in every one of his videos.
Yes.
You can just look below, and not in the comments, but in the description itself.
Yes.
It's there.
Yes,
So
it says,
just make sure.
It says donate through the 501c3. That's a direct link to direct giving to the. It's also the PayPal link is there as well, and then the mailing address. If people have donated by mail, once you click that giving link, you just go from there and you'll see our mailing address. So all three are there. Perfect.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you for being willing to join me. I know you had to change it. Like, this is my normal time that I do live streams, but you had to
this worked out
reroute
good for
how
me.
you're
It's
doing things.
3:58 in the afternoon. I have a 1 hour break before joining Johnny, and I think I'm going to go and get a bowl of borscht. Ukrainian
there you go.
borscht. Thank you.
All
Doc.
right.
Yes, sir. We'll
Thanks,
keep you
man.
posted. Now,
Yep.
for everybody here. All right, I'm just going to give this out here. And I know it's okay to say this on Dr. Gerdes' channel, but if you want to see every day what's happening here, just make sure you jump over and subscribe, because every day I'm showing you the front. And what, not for me, it's just to validate what you guys are giving. And tomorrow night, tonight I may go live. I'm in a good secure location, but tomorrow night, the guys are trying to arrange it where I can go live from the very front line. Front with complete security and no identification. And if I do, you will definitely hear it very active.
Was it 2 days ago where you were actually in their like barracks or their
Oh
dugout?
yeah, I was
or
in the
whatever?
bunker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
right on the
So
front.
I mean, if you want to see what's actually going on at the front, that you need to go over to his channel and see that.
I told Dr. Gerdes this, and it's okay now because I'm a long ways from where this was. I put my left foot in Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's zero lying. It was quite fun. So, yeah, we'll show you. And it's not because we're stupid or anything. We're safe as we can be. But if people around this world who do not know us personally, but know us only through these communities and trust us enough to help a nation that is being smashed right now, undeservedly so, unjust war, full of lies from the Kremlin propaganda, then you guys out there that are donating and caring deserve to see your gift and support in action. That's it. That's it.
Yep.
So thank you.
All right.
All right, Doc.
Thank you, and thank you to everybody that's watching for your comments and your caring. Thank you. I always end by saying thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine. Greg always ends after I say Slava Ukraini.
Yeah. He says, Geroim Slava, and today I'm going to give him this.
Slava Ukraini!